session. So for our next session, let me introduce Sadisha Samarasinghe, who will be briefing us on GitHub. Over to you, Sadisha. You're on mute.
All right, so am I audible now?
Yeah.
So, guys, first of all, welcome you guys to ITP 4.0 GitHub session. So, listen to this part very carefully, guys, because your ITP project management is highly depends on Git version control system and GitHub version control system tool, right? So, let us move on. So, guys, I'm Sadisha Samarasinghe, third year software engineer undergraduate and also member of MS Club of SLIIT, right? So guys, this is overview of ITP 4.0 GitHub session. In this session, guys, we will cover up what is version control system and discuss the one of the version control as a key and discuss how to avoid from mistakes when you are using Git as a version control system and learn how to code inside the Git batch command terminal. And also, guys, I hope to do some demo part with you. And finally, I discuss your student development package given from SLIIT, right? So let us move on. So first of all, guys, what is version control system, right? So in the experience, guys, when you work together in your ITP project, there can be happen some issues, right? So in this session, guys, I will show you what is happening inside your project without using any version control system, right? So let's go with right. Right. So let's assume, guys, this is the one of the program file inside the project, right? So let's assume you are the person that create that project. So let's assume this is your project. This is your code, right? This is your code, right? This is your code, right? So forget about those txt and let's assume this is one of the program file inside your project. So you can add new features for your program file, right? So right. So let's assume, guys, you done with your part, right? So after you can close your VS Code, then after a few days you can you want to update some assume some you need to update your some functionalities of your project, right? So you need to go to your project again and open it. Right. So let's assume, guys, you need to update your some functionalities in the code, right? So this is your updated code. Let's assume this is your updated code, right? So right. So you done with your part and you can close again your VS Code, right? So after a few days, you need to check whether your output is not with errors or something like that. You need to check whether your output is correct, right? So you need to open it again in VS Code and you need to check your output is with error or not, right? So let's assume, guys, your output is something something like error, right? So you need to track your error. So so in order to do that, guys, you need to go back with your previous code, right? So I mean, guys, initial code, right? So how do you go back to your previous code? So someone can tell you can press Ctrl Z and go back with your previous code, right? How do you do that? So it's not well because I previously closed my Visual Studio code, right? So that is the case, guys. We need to version control system in our project. Understood? So in the example, guys, in your ITP project, some students are going to with this approach, right? So please away from doing this approach, right? So your module will provide a GitHub Classroom, and you can follow those methods in your ITP project as well, right? So guys, what I'm going to try to tell you in here. So version control system allows to keep the user to track of their changes in software development, right? So they enable to collaborate with those projects using this version control system, right? So when they are using Git version control system, the developers can work together and collaborate with their code and separate their tasks through going through the branches, right? So my slide, guys. So so in the above case, guys, if you happen any error in your new code, you cannot go back with the previous code, right? So that is the thing. So what is the solution for it, right? So as a solution, guys, we have Git version control system, right? So with the help of Git, guys, so developers can work together from anywhere in the world, right? So and developers can revert their code changes in their earlier versions as well, right? So these are the solution for it, right? Let's move on. So guys, actually, what is Git? So someone can ask, what is Git, right? So Git is a version control system like that. So with the help of Git, guys, we can control our local and remote repositories, right? Then someone can ask, what is repository? The repository means kind of storage that we can develop our code, right? So don't worry much of these things. So I will explain about the repositories in more details later. So and guys, Git is a free open source distributed version control system to designed to handle everything from small to very large project with speedily and efficiency, right? So with the help of Git, we can update our local repository code, and we can pull code from a remote repository to push to remote repository to our code, right? So it gives a number of tools for control our code base, right? So remote repositories. So there are plenty of options available in the market, right? So here I mentioned three major platforms here. So we are mainly focused about the GitHub in our ITP project. So but guys, please keep remember all of these are the users as a remote repositories, right? So you can use those things in your project management system, right? So why is Git important for developers? Right. So sometimes when you develop your project with your team members, it's hard to extend your code with your team members, right? So think you are a team leader in your project. So you have created each folder for each member. So you can assign some project and functionality form or something like that. So if your teammates want to change their code part, and after change it, he will occur some errors in their part, right? So guys, that is the case if you want to reset to his previous type, right? So he cannot go back, he cannot get that version, right? So because he is not use version control system in his project. Understood. So that is the example of basic scenario why we want to Git and GitHub to manage our project source code, right? So that are the things I want to explain about the version control system and version control system tools in here, guys. So let's move on. So here are some of the basic Git commands that every developer should know, guys. So I previously told you guys we are using some version control system tools to manage our project. So we mainly focus about the GitHub as a version control system in our ITP project, right? So there are plenty of commands available in the GitHub, right? So now I'm going to explain to apply this command into ITP project with demo part, right? So but remember, guys, I'm not going to describe these things with much more detail. So after this session, I will share some preferences with you guys. So right, let's. So before you create a repository, right, you need to download Git version control system in your local PC, right? In order to do that, you need to go to the Git download. This link and you need to download this software, right? So you can see there are three options available in here. So I am a Windows user, so I'm going with this link. So you can see here the plenty versions are available in here. So you can download your relevant version here. So I'm not going to discuss more things about this. I think you are familiar with those things. So, right. So after you download this version control system, you need to, you need to create your remote repository, right? So in order to do that, guys, you need to go to the GitHub, right? So GitHub web application, right? So this is main interface of the GitHub web application. So if you have already signed in here, you can log in here. And if you don't have any account, you can put the email and you can sign up in here, right? So I have already signed up here. Right. This is my dashboard of my GitHub account. You can see there are some repositories available in here. So when I click one of the repositories, so you can see this is our MS Club backend repository. So you can see in here some files and folders are there, and you can see there is a description about what is going with this repositories, or what are the technologies use these repositories, and who are the contributors in these repositories. Those things you can see in here, right? So let's create a new repository, right? So you can see in here there is a button called new. So you can click here and go to the create new repository page. So first of all, guys, you need to give the owner of your repository. Right, so I choose myself as well. So then you need to give repository name. I give application like 1.3, right? So you can see in here there is option called description. This is not mandatory, guys. If you have any brief description about your repository, you can put inside in here, right? Right. So I am skip this option, and this setting is very critical, guys, because if you want to share your repository with anyone, you can select the public mode. But you want to this, I mean, if you want to restrict your repository with anyone, uh, you can set it as a private mode, right? So, right. So initially, guys, you can see you can create some README files and some gitignore files. So, and you can set some license as well. And I'm not going to do that in here. So I create repository, right? So in here, guys, you can see there is empty repository. You can only see about our GitHub link in here. So let's go with demo one, right? So there are two persons in here. So let's assume, guys, the person one is initially create their project. So the person, let's assume the person one is create test.html file, right? So I'm going to make some HTML list. Right, I create some put list in here, right? Right. So let's assume, guys, the person one is done with their part. So then before we going to next step, we have something called Git staging area, right? We have something called Git staging area. So what is Git staging area? So guys, Git staging area means like a rough draft space, right? So it's where you can Git add the version of your files or multiple files that you want to save in your next commit, right? So in other words, guys, this is the next version of your project, right? let's assume your code is done and it's ready to push to the remote repository. So after that, you need to tell to the Git, these are the files I'm going to upload, right? We call it as a staging area, right? Actually, guys, this basic idea is we acknowledge the Git, that are the files I'm going to upload to the Git, right? So then Git knows these are the files, these are the files it's going to upload, right? In here, guys, you can see, right, we have something called untracked file, right? So untracked file means this file is staging area is in the this, right? So it's in the working directory, right? So first of all, we need to add this file to the our staging area, right? In order to do that, guys, first of all, I need to create empty repository in our project, right? So git it, you can see, right? Empty repository. I initialize empty repository, right? After that, you need to check this file is right. You can see this test.html file is untracked file. So you are in working directory, right? So you need to add this file to your staging area, right? You need to add test.html. So after I check this status of the file, you can see the test.html file is in the staging area, right? So then we need to change that file staging area to local repository. In order to do that, guys, we need to commit that changes to the local repository, right? So we can commit. So I put it as initial commit. So when you are committing, guys, please be careful. So you need to give the commit as meaningful and very short form, right? So I commit these changes. You can see the commit is successful. So before guys, I push to the remote repository, we need to give the remote repository in our project, right? Right. So we need to give right. We need to give the I give the repository name as origin. Right. So you need to give the repository link, right? Right. You initialize your remote repository in here, right? So then you need to push your code to remote repository. Right. Right. The push is done. So you can see here. Right. The test file is already in our remote repository, right? So you can see there is a there is a commit called initial commit. So right. So let's assume, guys, the person who needs to collaborate with that project. So first of all, guys, he need to clone this project in their local PC, right? So in order to do that, guys, we need to copy this Git link and paste it in here. Right. Cloning is done, right? So before I edit this file, I'm going to inside that application 135, right? So I'm going to this application 135 and see. Right. So guys, let's assume this person wants to edit this file like mango. We need to add banana to the list. Right. So we check our Git staging area of that file. Git status, right? So this file is modified, right? So then you again you need to add this file your staging area, right? So in order to do that, guys, you need to add this file here. Right. You can see in here this file is already added to your staging area. So after that, you need to commit these changes to your local repository, right? -m add I set add banana. Right. The commit is done, and you can push your code to online repository, right? So you no need to give the branch because the master branch is already created in here. So you can push code directly. Right. Push part is done, so you can see. So in here, guys, you can see the commit code at banana. So in here, guys, you can see all the project commits in here. So that is the demo part in here, right, guys? If you need to add some collaborators to your project, you can set settings called collaborators. You have setting called collaborators, and you can add people using this button, right? So, right, as you add your collaborators in here, right? So, right, guys, let us move on. So, 10-JIT usage you should not avoid in your project, right? So, let's assume, guys, you all know the JIT is provide to workflow that is easy to understand, learn, and use to practice, right? So JIT is, guys, the high flexible tool, right? So when you know to handle the JIT commands, you feel superior about managing those things, right? So let's learn what are the 10 usages we should stop or avoid, right? So first one is do not commit direct, right? First one is do not commit, right? You can see in here commit directly, right? So in the JIT, guys, the master branch must contain the most stable version of your code, right? It is most likely that you will build your end product from the master or release branch, right? So committing and pushing to these branch directly have a high risk. It's corrupting some introducing new bugs, and you have put extra hours for it, and those are the troubles we are happening, right? So please stay away from it, right? So next one is do not commit the application secrets, right? This is very critical thing, guys. So someone can ask what are the secrets. So it could be the API keys and secret keys and database secrets and authentication secrets and many more, right? So making these things publicly, it may increase the security risks of your application, right? So at the same time, guys, it may make a big hole on your pocket when someone misuses, right? So do not commit your project secrets with any accidental pushes or remote repository. Pushes in the remote repository, right? So please stay away from it, right? The third one is do not treat JIT as a file storage, right? Um, do you want to store movies to your repository, right? Do you need? No, actually not, right. So because Git is not a place for it, right? So other media services work better for these use cases, right? So technically, guys, you can store anything in Git repository, but it would be a massive waste of time for someone to clone your repository, right? So please stay away from it, right? So next one is do not work on multiple issues in the single branch, right? So it is usual to handle something like multiple features and fixes or issues in parallel, right? So, but do not have multiple issues in a single branch, even when you are super confident about your branch, right? So please stay away from it. So next one is do not post push, right? So always pull before the push, right? So don't perform a post push unless you need it, right? So it may be happen some, it may your co-workers may go insane because of this, right? So don't do this, right? So next one is do not modify or delete the commit history, right? So modifying or deleting history will take away from opportunity to find out more error points and debugs. So many more, right? So please stay away from doing it, right? So next one is do not ignore .git ignore, right? This is very critical thing, right? So the .git ignore file is a particular file where you can mention the file name happens to ignore the specific file from the staging, right? So in the your ITP project, you may not want to push your node modules folder to your remote repository, right? So please create .git ignore file with file name patterns and keep it root of your project folder, right? So next one is do not reset a branch without commit changes, right? So when you are trouble with your like when you are trouble with your file engine, so reset may not be a only solution, right? You can fix some issues in your Git files, and you can resolve some conflict in your files as well, right? So don't do this, right? So next one is do not make bulky commits, right? So many small commits are much better than a large one. So as we know, guys, for each commit we make, so it's right, Git writes it to history with the commit ID and user provided message, right? So you don't want to change it, right? Right. So that are the things I need to cover in here, guys. So I will explain about the student development package given from SLIIT. In order to do that, guys, we need to go look our posted. I log with my email address. Right. I chose previous version because I am very familiar with this. Yes. So guys, you can see here are the option called resource tab. You can see in the GitHub student development pack. So you can go through this link and
Small interruption. Actually, it's given by the GitHub organization, so we can use it by using the SLIIT email address.
Yeah. You should provide your email address as a SLIIT email address to your GitHub account. So otherwise, you can't actually activate your pro version in your GitHub account. So in this case, guys, you need to sign up for the student development pack in here. So you can see there is a two option called teachers and student. You need to choose the Git student benefit package. So whatever thing, guys, you all are in SLIIT, so you have many more softwares with license in here. So these things can use your education purpose as well. So so guys, I'm running out of time. So that are the things I need to tell you in this session. So if you have any clarification, you can contact me through email, or you can put questions in chat. So don't be afraid, guys, and you need to manage your time, and you need to collaborate with your friends in your ITP project. So again, if you have any clarification, you can contact me through email. So good luck, all of you guys. So I hand over my session to Lakshana. So Lakshana, screen is yours.
Thank you for that enlightening speech, Aya.